Hey YouTube, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Roman, and yes, we are back with another set of crime stories I find to be relatively interesting, but very, very sad. And so without further ado, let's get into it. So this first story I want to talk about is very, very, very sad and it's heartbreaking. It's a story of when a child calls out to their parent for help and the parent does everything in their power to help to a fault. So we have a Jamille Spleen. He's 31 and he's an alleged member of the Blood Gang. And so him and his girlfriend, Akima Kelly, she's 28, they went to the club back in April, on April 20th, actually, of this year. They went out and I guess at the club, they got into it, and that carried over until, them leaving the club and then going back to his place. And so once they got to his place, I guess the fighting ensued even more. And so around 4 a.m., she placed a phone call to her father, Vernon Kelly. He's 49 years old, basically, pleading, please come help me, father, come help me, dad. So Mr. Vernon Kelly gets in his car with his wife, of the Ashley Shan. So she rode in the car with him to go save his daughter. So as they get there, he goes up the stairs to go to the house where his daughter is to save her, and Jamille fires a gun and it tears through Mr. Vernon Kelly's heart and his spine, and it shoots right through his body. And so you can take a look at this footage of the daughter actually running out to save her father during this time. And so what kills me is what you don't see on here is that while the confrontation is still ensuing, Jamille is pistol whipping the daughter in front of the father. And so the father instantly jumps out of the vehicle and runs up to the front of the yard, the building, to rescue his daughter. And that's when he is attacked and encounters the firearm. So not only did his wife lose a husband, but they also share two sons along with his daughter from someone else. But they share two sons, a 3-month-old boy and a 3-year-old son, which is so tragic, all because the father decided to come and rescue his daughter, who was in a situation where the guy apparently is abusing her and pistol whipping her. What I find to be crazy, and I covered this before, was when families arrive to rescue their children and they come to do whatever in their power, and they come and they lose their lives. No one expects that. You just expect whatever you need, I'm coming. And for him to have lost his life at the arms of someone else because of his careless, selfless response to saving his daughter is just pure evil. How do you reconcile, I'm gonna kill this man because he's doing his deed of protecting his child, protecting his his kin, his family? Now, what's very sick about this is the daughter knows, Akima knew that Jamille was the one who shot and killed her father. So Jamille instantly got into a car and fled. Now, the police searched for him. Do you know it took this man 3 months to decide to turn himself in? To decide to turn himself in. So this happened on April 20th. July 19th of this year, he turned himself in and he confessed to the murder of Mr. Vernon Kelly. Now, Mr. Vernon Kelly was actually a DJ in the community, and he was actually the supervisor of the building of which his daughter, and the suspect lived in. So it was like a double whammy. Now, all roads lead me to believe that he acted this way using the firearm because he felt like the father was a major threat to his dominance, to his, I'm the man, I'm beating on my chest, whatever confrontation they got into, it escalated, I'm gonna handle it, and this is what I'm doing. Who are you to come over here and try to ease anything or tell me what to do? I run this. And I don't think he expected it to go to that point. And when it did, it was sort of like his initial response was to shoot a gun, firearm, let me eliminate the threat. And that's sad because that's typical of a lot of things that we see now in the days. It's not even about, can we talk and settle this issue? It's really, let me eliminate this threat because whatever you're going to bring to me, I can't handle that. So the easiest way for me to deal with that is by choosing a firearm. And now this man is probably going to spend the rest of his life in jail. And it's not because, it was gang related. It's not because, you did something to a stranger. It's because of your actions in your relationship and you not being able to control your temper and your anger. And I always go to this, and I used to say just men, but I've seen it recently with women. You have got to learn how to channel that anger and that frustration you have towards a spouse or a loved one to something else. I don't know if it's a 10-second countdown. I don't know if it's a walk around the block. I don't know if it's eating some ice cream. And I know it's easier said than done. I haven't been married yet, and so I don't know what that lifestyle is. But yeah, I don't think, if someone's mother or father comes to their rescue while you're abusing them or it's a heated discussion warrants you attacking them. And that's simply all I'm saying. So yeah, drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about this situation. And do you think that it was wrong for the father to come and rescue and save his daughter and provide any kind of shield and protection he could, whether it was him losing his life? So imagine it's a hot, hot day in Las Vegas and you decide to go on a hike. Now, you're probably able to do a hike on a very, very hot day in Las Vegas, but do you think your 7-year-old son would be able to stomach that? Well, let's find out and see. So back in May, a Samantha Marino Rodriguez decided to take her 7-year-old son on a hike with her on the trail. And I guess apparently along the way, he started crying and he started complaining and he doesn't want to do it. He's ready to go. And so she got so agitated with him that she had nudged him, shoved him a little bit. And when she shoved him, he tripped, hit his head on a rock. And then he started crying and screaming and going, crazy as any child would, and probably as I would at this age. If I fell and hit my head on a rock, I'd probably be yelling and screaming. And so I think at that point she had her wits end with him. She removed his clothes and strangled him to death. She strangled her son to death right then and there on the trail. And so she removed all his clothes so that he couldn't be identified to her, and she left the park. And so he was unidentified for over a week before detectives were able to find the mother in a hotel in Denver. And so she's set to appear in court. She's set to appear in court. But my thing is, and so no remorse, cold. It sends chills down my bones to know that my mother would just, in the blink of an eye, decide that the only option I have to control this situation is to strangle my son. Like that, it sends shivers down my bone, because you normally don't think that a mom would have those kind of thoughts towards their children, but you see it and it's happening. And the poor child, I'm sure a little sit down and let's just take a little break for a good 20 to 30 minute break, drink some water, talk, sit down, maybe do a little walk, wouldn't have killed nobody. And I don't know, maybe you did do it. Maybe it wasn't enough. Maybe he just was hungry. Maybe he just wanted to scream and cry. But strangling him or shoving him so he hits his head on a rock, did that seem like that was the best option? Like what? And then you take all the clothes off him so he couldn't be identified, meaning you were really detaching yourself away from him. Like, okay, let me go away from that. It's like it's almost like that was never yours. Like you didn't have any connection to it at all. You could easily get rid of it. And then leave your child out there unidentified for a week. I think that was the biggest thing for me. Your naked child on a trail for 7 days. While people, yeah, so whew, drop down and let me know what you think about this situation, about the mother who decided to take her child on a hike on a very hot day, I imagine, in Las Vegas, and a child who probably can barely stomach it. What do you think her appropriate, reaction to this? And do you think she deserves life? I think she deserves life. I think, if they could find that it was premeditated, the better. But if anything, I definitely think she deserves life for taking a 7-year-old, your 7-year-old's life at that, over something that you caused. He didn't have to go hiking, and nor did you. And I don't know what the situation is, but I'm sure there were some other things you could have done that could have easily satisfied both of, you could have got your fitness on and he could have probably got his play on. I don't know what the case is, but I don't think it justifies strangling your child. Ma'am. Fuck. Thank you again for joining me for another set of crime stories that I just found to be crazy that even happens in the 21st century. And as always, if you see something, say something. If you see someone doing something, say something. If someone comes to you in distress, it isn't your job to be an investigator, but you can definitely point them in the direction of help. And until next time, deuces.